My name is Shawn Wilmoth. We have a new concept called Gelato Brothers we are working on, and we're here to kind of understand how we can build quality into our processes from the beginning versus trying to start something and then regroup and rebuild our processes without using some of the quality improvements that BEI teaches. As far as key concepts that we've learned about things like organization and processes that we hadn't even went to yet in building out both our physical plant information, how we're going to build our shelving, how our electrical will be done, as well as just processes for suppliers, simplifying food processes that we may not have went across until we got into operations, which would be paramount to too late. So we see that this is the kind of things that we can take back and make a big difference on a rollout to be more successful and more in line with a concept that we can duplicate over and over. And that's kind of been our goal in the first place, is build one, do it well, get the kinks worked out, and then look for multiple locations after we're done with this. But if we don't set it up properly to begin with, we're going to really spend a lot more time undoing some mistakes that we've already made. I think the first thing that we're going to implement when we go back is some training materials that we need to be thinking about for our employees. By creating training materials before we get back, it will force us to think about equipment that we're going to use, the type of application of the equipment onto the product, simple things like you're talking about how many times you circle the ketchup on the middle of the bun. Ours is a gelato product. We need to know how many swizzles we're going to do across that, not just for supply use, but for a consistent product for each customer every time they come in. If there's going to be 5 swizzles, then there's going to be 5 every time. And so we'll start with the training aspect, but back up to the processes that lead to that training. So that's what we'll take away first. Yeah, we absolutely recommend it. And we were impressed that one of your other attendees that came up to us and said, at the very beginning, they said, you're doing this right by coming before you actually have an operating business, because you're going to learn so much that you would have made mistakes with. So while we didn't really think of us as being that smart in doing this early, other people who are now backing into the same processes have already told us, hey, look, this is going to save you a lot of money and effort and mistakes that you would make in the future. So we're pretty excited about, one of our peers, our future peers, telling us that right now, tells us we're on the right track. And yeah, I would say that other people involved in building a concept, they need to come here first, preferably. And maybe if you have already got it started, you do what you can, you come in second, and then you learn by this course on how to reverse engineer some of your processes. So I would say the word or phrase that I would associate with this training is simplicity. Much like Apple works very, very hard to make it simple, Pals has made it very simple, but worked very, very hard to make it simple. Whether that's the menu selection or the supply chain that matches to that menu, or the location, or the cross-training, all of those elements really make a much better, simple process. But as we know from the training, simple's not easy, but if you're purposeful in being simple, you can have great results with less effort and maybe a lesser qualified workforce that you could use. Anyone off the street, in a matter of a short time, you could train them to run your processes.